double stroke rolls. You don't have to do too much digging on the internet to find a wealth of information and tips and tricks on how to get a faster double stroke roll. But one thing that doesn't get talked about enough, and is arguably more important than speed, is how we actually improve the sound of our doubles. Well, in this lesson, I'm going to show you how you can iron out those pesky doubles for a silky smooth roll. Let's get stuck in. Now, when people first learn a double stroke roll, there's understandably not a huge amount of attention to detail going on with the roll itself. And in the search for speed and development of the roll, it can often end up sounding a bit like this. If you listen carefully, there's an accent on the first note which is giving us an eighth note pulse throughout the roll, which certainly makes it sound a bit staccato, definitely not smooth, and possibly even feel a bit slower than it is, because the focus is on the eighth note going through it due to its dominance over the quieter notes. So this is where we want to put our focus, and by making some simple changes we can transform our doubles into a much smoother sounding roll that doesn't have that eighth note feel running through it. Now, slight disclaimer here, you can't unsee this. Once you start playing your doubles like this, it's very difficult to go back to the old way of doing it, and you'll never really hear them quite the same again. I also want to add that developing this roll that I'm going to show you today will take a bit of work. It's definitely not a 5-minute practice and you've mastered it kind of situation. This one is going to take a bit of patience and development, but it's well worth the effort. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the way that we start the actual roll, and that is a really key point to get right. We're no longer going to play right, right, left, left to start our roll now. To get into the new roll, we're going to play just a single right, then continue the double stroke roll as normal afterwards. So that would look like this. So just to be clear, the only thing we've changed here is that it's a single note at the beginning of the roll. What that does is make it really easy to get into the roll once we make the second change that I'm about to show you. So here's where the magic happens. All we need to do to iron out these notes is to shift that accent onto the second note, and as the roll builds up speed, you can hear that it starts to flatten out nicely, doing away with the eighth note pulse that we had before, and thus giving us a much smoother double stroke roll. As I said earlier, it will definitely take a bit of practice to get the speed up with this one, and I would recommend starting on a pad first, nice and slowly, so that you can really zero in on the sticking and using that new way of getting into the roll with the single note at the beginning, then building up your speed gradually until you are super comfortable with the exercise. Remember, it's when we speed up the roll that you hear it start to even out, so listen out for that transition point as you develop your roll and enjoy those nice smooth doubles. So who'd have thought it's such a simple change can have such an effect on a roll that we use as drummers all the time. I've put together some preparatory exercises for you to help you build up the roll and your speed in this new format, which you can download for free on the link in the description of this video. I hope you enjoyed this lesson today, and please don't forget to hit the like button and of course subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of my drum lesson videos. See you in the next lesson.